Good morning, dear students. In today's session, we will be discussing one child health emergency that is very commonly seen in children, and the complications also very serious and can lead to death in children, that is burns in children. Burns are the tissue injury caused by contact with heat, flame, chemicals, electricity, and radiation. So, in generally, burns, what happens is the tissue injury which is caused by any heat source or any chemicals or any radiation or electricity. So, when you're talking about children, 80% of burns occur from home. So, it is very important to be aware about the causes of burns in home. And it is the third leading cause of death in children. It is more common between the age group of 1 and 4 years because during this time the child will be more curious about the environment and they may not be knowing the consequences of a heat source. It is very common and serious childhood injury and higher risk with the children than adults. The incidence is more common and the complications are also more common in children than adults. Over 65% of burns in age group of below 5 years and 25% below 10 years of age. So whenever we are caring or whenever there is a child less than 5 years and 10 years, like more importance or more care is to be given for less than 5 years or under 5 to prevent accidents like burns in home. Next, we can see the definition of the condition. Burns are wounds produced by various kinds of agents that cause subcutaneous injury and destruction of underlying tissue. So, this is the definition of burns. So, these are the injury which happens to the skin layers. It can happen to the subcutaneous layer or to the underlying tissue, and it is produced by various agents. It can be a thermal agent or it can be an electricity or chemicals or radiation. So anyway, the problem is in the injury to the subcutaneous and other underlying tissues. So clear the definition. We will be moving to the next slide. Next we can see the types of burns in children. So wounds caused by exposure to thermal injury like excessive heat. Next is the chemicals, fire or steam, radiation, electricity, and in some situation it can be caused by iatrogenic injury. So some hospital induced some chemicals can cause this burns in children. So these are the type of burns based on the reason or the cause of exposure. First we can see the thermal injury. Heat injury due to hot liquids, hot surfaces, hot flame, and heat may be either dry or moist. So this is regarding the heat injury. And scald injury, it can happen because of the spillage of hot liquids. Like it is very common among children, like they will be pulling hot coffee from the table or table or hot water. So this leads to scald injury. Next is a flame injury. Like second most cause of burns occurs due to faulty electrical wiring, stove, heaters, etc. Flash burns can happen due to exposure of natural gas, alcohol, combustible liquids. Contact burns, like they contact with hot metals or objects or hot materials and results in contact burns. So these are the thermal burns or thermal injury which is caused by different heat sources. The next one is cold injury, like frostbite can happen in extreme cold environment. Next is the chemicals, that is due to ingestion of strong acids or alkali. Next is the electrical burns can happen due to high voltage electrical contact. Next is the radiation, that is overexposure to ultraviolet rays can happen and it can lead to radiation type of burns injury. Iatrogenic injury, that is careless use of warmers, hot applicants, cauterization, etc., can lead to iatrogenic burns. So these are the type of burns in children like thermal injury, chemicals, fire, radiation, electricity, iatrogenic, and one more thing, that is cold injury. Next we can see the pathophysiology of burns. So what happens when a person is exposed with extreme heat or any chemicals? What happens in the skin and what leads to the pathophysiological changes in the burn? Heat causes coagulation, necrosis of the skin and subcutaneous tissue. When the person is exposed with any heat source, what happens is necrosis of the skin, that is because of the denaturation of the skin. So that is because that's why it leads to necrosis of the skin and subcutaneous tissue when it is exposed over time. This causes the release of vasoactive peptides, and there will be altered capillary permeability. So there will be release of vasoactive peptides and there will be vasodilatation will be happening and leads to altered vascular permeability. So this causes loss of fluid, like severe hypovolemia will be occurring because of this loss of fluid as a result of increased or altered capillary permeability. So we will be continuing in this next slide. So there will be decreased cardiac output and decreased myocardial output will be there, and decreased cardiac function will be there. Cardiac output and decreased cardiac function. This function comes in the left side. Okay, decreased cardiac function and decreased myocardial output will be there. This leads to decreased renal blood flow. This is to compensate the decreased volume by diverting the amount of blood to the vital organs. That's why there will be decreased renal blood flow. So this results in renal failure and the person will be presenting oliguria. And along with that, there will be altered pulmonary resistance causing pulmonary edema. So this will result in infection, and there will be systemic inflammatory response syndrome and leads to multi-organ dysfunction syndrome. So the person will be getting repeated infections and this leads to multi-organ dysfunction syndrome. So generally we can say that from a severe burn there is vascular permeability and edema, altered hemodynamics, blood volume and blood pressure and other alterations can be there in the hemodynamics. Hypermetabolism will be there and there will be increased temperature because of increased basal metabolic rate. Increased gut mucosal permeability will be there, and decreased renal blood flow leads to renal failure and oliguria and other problems in renal area. Then immunosuppression leads to increased chances of getting inflammations in the person. So these all are the various affected body systems and body parts, and how this will be happening. This burns will be leading to certain changes in the body. So hope you understood. Like one more time I will be explaining, like severe burns leads to different body function alterations like altered hemodynamics, hypermetabolism, increased gut mucosal permeability, decreased renal blood flow, immunosuppression, and vascular permeability and edema. So further what all things happen in each system, that you can refer textbook for further details. And this is a glimpse of pathophysiological change of burns. Next, we can see the classification of burns in children. So, the first classification is based on the thickness of skin involved or the layers involved. So, in that, there are first degree, second degree, third degree, and fourth degree. So these are the 4 degrees of burns according to the thickness of skin involved. So first we can see the first degree burns. It is very superficial burns. Epidermis is pink to red and painful. Heals rapidly in 5 to 7 days, and there is no blisters by epithelialization without scarring. So just a touch with heat sources happen, the skin becomes red, but it is painful, and within 5 to 7 days it will be healing without any scar or any changes in the skin. So this type of burns is known as first degree burns. The second degree burns, there will be mottled red, painful with blisters. So the color changes can be happen. It will be painful, like superficial layers are involved. Therefore, definitely there will be pain. And in the first degree there was no blisters, but here in second degree you can see the blisters. And it will heal within 14 to 21 days, and superficial burn heals causing pigmentation. Some darkness will be there in the particular healed area. Deep burn heals causing scarring and pigmentation. So if it is second degree with a deep wound, there will be scarring and pigmentation. So this is about the second degree burns. Next we can see the third degree burns. Like it will be charred, painless, and insensitive. Thrombosis of superficial vessels can happen because in third degree it will be crossing the subcutaneous tissue up to the muscle layer, and there will be involvement of the blood vessels and the nerve endings, and it requires grafting. Escarchard, denatured, insensitive, contracted, full thickness burn will be appeared in the third degree, and these wound must heal by re-epithelialization from wound edge. So the healing is very difficult, and it has to heal by re-epithelialization from the wound edge. And usually we will be going with grafting as a treatment with third degree burns. And in the fourth degree, it involves the underlying tissues, muscles, and bones also. So in that time, there will be difficulty in sensation and pain will be less, but it will be very much charred, and it will be like denatured, and it can be like contracted also. So this is the appearance of fourth degree. And first degree and second degree burns are included in partial thickness, and third degree and burns is considered as full thickness burns. Like third degree and fourth degree are considered in full thickness burns. So hope you understood the classification of burns according to the layers of skin involved or the thickness of skin involved. First degree, second degree, third degree, and fourth degree. So with this I am breaking the video, and we will continue in the next video. Thank you.